Ooh, wrong button. Hello. How's it going tonight, everyone? It's Friday night, and it's a bit of a last minute. It's been a busy day. Been running around out with the family all day. Came home, stuff's not charged. It's Friday. It's not even Friday. It's Saturday. But we are here. We're gonna have a good time tonight. It's gonna be a good time. Saturday night. I feel mostly all right. It's gonna be a variety stream tonight. We're gonna do a little bit of printing, a little bit of building. I was hoping to do an unboxing, but unfortunately, yes, my did not charge, unfortunately, for some reason. They did not decide to wirelessly charge, and considering this is the only Apple device I have, I don't know where my lightning cable is. So, unfortunately, I don't, they're not charged. So yes, wired headphones. Put that in there because I forgot to hide that. So, yeah. That's annoying. This is going to be really annoying. Audio sounds weird. What do you mean audio sounds weird? We are...
Oh, okay. Audio better? Audio better? I'm sorry, I was recording stuff earlier in the week, and I had all my settings were kind of... Yeah, I had the wrong mic selected. I was going off the mic on the camera. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I had the wrong mic selected. Sorry. My setup was kind of, everything was kind of tossed up. So I had to like re-enable a bunch of stuff. So, yeah. But since when, it's been a while since we've had audio issues on stream. So I figured have a little bit of a throwback, you know. Gonna be dancing around with a wired mic all night. It's gonna be one of those nights. It's gonna be one of those nights. Let's just go with one of these because it's really annoying. Put that through there. And I'm gonna walk into it a million times, but it is what it is. So tonight's show, we are going to play with this guy. And we're gonna do some Idex printing. And then we're gonna put the dragon in the Toasty, because I've gone ahead and printed the new mount. I know last week we were going to print, but we had issues there. But that is all resolved now. So yeah, so tonight's show, sponsored by Thangs. Thangs is back. Hey, check out the link in the description, because I printed this guy, which is totally not in focus, because again, we were playing with the camera last week. And would I ever remember to restore settings back to defaults? No, of course not. Why would I ever do that? There we go. So on Thangs, they have nearly 3 million models, and it's constantly growing. And this is one of those newer ones that was quite fun to print. This is one of those I can never say it right. Bloody hell. Tensori tower. What is it called? It's tensigrate. I'm trying to find where the model is, because it's one of those fancy ones that, like, on paper it doesn't work, but then like it balances due to physics and science and whatnot. Tensigrate. Yeah, there you go. But look at that. And this is all print in place, so there's no wires. This is actually a single print in place model. It prints like that, and then you just take it off at bed, and it does that. So this is in some Sparta 3D silk. I didn't have the settings dialed quite in, so it's a little bit stringy. No pun intended. But it just kind of does that. Physics! It does stuff. So yeah, so that was the fun little print. And then, as you can see, we're playing with the Idex. So it's getting there. It's getting there. Settings aren't perfect yet. But yeah. Yeah, that's a bridge. This is a, these are bridges. So this is a single, I printed it on Tallboy with the 0.6 nozzle, 0.3 layer height, and that is one single strand right across. So print it with something that has a little bit of flex to it. Don't print it in like polycarbonate. Nylon would actually probably be pretty good. But yeah, if you want to print one of these of your own, the link is in the descriptions. So go there. If you don't have a Thangs account, create a Thangs account, download some Thangs on Thangs, and print it off. So yeah, so thanks for sponsoring the show tonight. So tonight, we're going to play with this guy. So this is the Artist D Pro from JGmaker. Now, when they sent it to me, they told me not to, they wanted me to do a video on it. They didn't want me to unbox it on stream. But I've already unboxed it, so let's show it off on stream, because I think I got it into a happy place now. I've printed a bunch of stuff on it over the past week, and some of it was not, this looks okay on camera. It doesn't look good on person. Hardware-wise, the machine's not bad. It's your standard affair. It's got a linear MGN 12 rail, I think, that both these carriages ride on. But hopefully the noise canceling is still enabled. It's a bed slinger. It's big. Like, it doesn't even fit in frame. And me not having noise canceling is going to suck tonight. So we'll see how long the stream goes tonight. That's a big, yeah. So it's 300 by 300 by 350. And it's a big boy. So what we'll do is we'll get something printing, and then once that's printing, then we'll go on to Toasty and we'll swap that over. So we're gonna print and chill tonight. Tonight's just gonna be print and chill. Oh, what torque? The torque wrench I printed, I think it's for whatever the spec the Mosquito wants. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah. So yeah, it's big. So that's my thing. Personally, like, this big of a bed flinger is above what I would recommend going with a bed flinger for. I think Prusa size, like that 250, you know, like the switch wire size, that's about as big as a bed flinger. Because you got to remember, like, when you're printing something big and tall, like this vase here, as it's moving back and forth, it's going to do this and wobble. So if you're just printing low, small stuff all day, like a benchy, yeah, it ain't gonna matter. But the moment you start getting way up there and you start printing tall stuff on a bed flinger at high speeds, the model's gonna sway and you're gonna get imperfections. So I don't like tall bed flingers. X and Y honestly doesn't matter too much. It's the height that I don't like. And then you gotta go slow. So we need to find something to print in dual colors. So unfortunately, I'm still waiting. I ordered some PVA, which is the dissolvable filament, so I can do it with PLA. I have hips, but D-liminoin, or whatever, liminoin, or whatever the heck it's called, that stuff ain't cheap. Because I was going to just print some ABS and hips and try the dissolving for that. But that stuff is not cheap. So I'm just going to try PVA first and see how that works. And see how that is. Are the extruders any good? So on this one, I haven't taken the extruders apart yet. I'm of the, let me print it, let me do the testing with it first before taking it apart persuasion. because I'd rather make sure everything works and get all the content I need out of it before doing the review, before taking it apart, because the last thing I want to do is take it apart and break it, and then I'm screwed because I haven't finished my review. So I'm going to print a few more things on it, and then I'm going to take apart the extruders. I'm pretty sure though that the extruders are the they're single gear. They're single gear extruders. I had some issues at first, but I think I got it fixed. So we're gonna do some dual extrusion tonight. So let me, yeah, the print's finished. Why do you want to cancel preheat? It's got a touchscreen. I don't like touchscreens. I really don't like these touchscreens that all these entry-level printers have now, because they seem to all come with touchscreens, because it's like, oh hey, touchscreen is premium. The problem is they're all garbage touchscreens. Just give me buttons. We're gonna heat that up because we're not gonna print in red and green. We are gonna go with black. Can I get a close up? Yeah, when it's printing, I'll put it. So what the plan is, we're gonna get something printing, and then while that's printing, we'll do the Toolhead swap on Toasty. Rather spend, exactly, like honestly, I'm on a crusade against printers coming with the cheap single gear extruder. Like it's current year, we should be getting better extruders on our machines. Do I want elixir brass? No. Where's my gold? Do I have gold? I could have sworn I had gold. Got that. I got silver. I don't have gold. I could have sworn I had some gold PLA. No, silver. I've got like 10 spools of polyalchemy, but none of them are gold. Unless I got it on another printer. No, I do not. That looks close enough to gold. We'll go with that. We'll go with silk. So we'll go with black and silk. Oh, and I've already modded this printer. I'm doing a review on a factory printer, and I've already had to mod it. So, yeah, it comes with, this was the annoying part. So, as you can see, it has these purge buckets here, okay? These were the ones that it came with, okay? The problem was, the way this purge bucket is see where the nozzle is? And you got this brush. Originally, the nozzle sat over the brush. So what would happen is, while it was parked, it would just ooze into the brush and then gum the brush up with a glob of plastic, and then it would get stuck and it would skip a step. So what I ended up doing was, I found somebody had made a mod to move the brush over. So I've already had to do a mod to this thing to get it to function better. So honestly, if you can print something out and swap it with 2 screws, it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. But still, that part was annoying. And it's got these filament runouts detection sensors, which are kind of annoying, but they're there. Take the 12864 screen from a Hotend hands. Honestly, I got the LDO, the voron mini display. I got to put that in a printer, and then I do have a Big Tree Tech TFT50 that hopefully I'm going to put in a printer this week, and I'll do a video on Clipper Screen. Because I know a bunch of people want me to take a look at Clipper Screen. So I'll try and do that this week. I'll try and do a video on that this week. Or soon, at least. There we go. Okay, turn both heaters off. Turn printer off. Where are my tongs? I don't know. What model voron? It's the off-the-shelf non-voron voron. So honestly though, so the problem I've had with this printer so far is pretty much lack of software. It's kind of finicky with the slicers. At first I figured you just tell it you got two extruders and, you know, off it goes to the races. Because this is the first time I've played with an Idex. But the problem I had was it doesn't behave properly. Oh, David's here. Everyone say hi, David. I didn't even see the name. So originally I tried Super Slicer, because that's what I use on my voron, Super Slicer. And what happened was it's supposed to do a retraction when it switches tool heads, right? So when you switch from one tool head to the other, it goes in parks and then it does like a 4mm retraction so that it doesn't ooze. With Super Slicer and even Prusa Slicer, it didn't work. It did not do it. I told it to output in Marlin and yada yada yada. It just would not work. So I tried Cura, which is what they recommend. The problem is it doesn't come with a profile. And then somebody on Twitter suggested I use Ideamaker or Ideal Maker. And so I'm using that right now, and it seems to be working okay. That's what I did this vase with Ideamaker. So right now I'm just trying to find something to print. That's not what I want. That's not what I want. I really want to... Honestly, I've wanted an Idex for a while. It's just not something that I could have justified. This kind of sucks because I can't enclose it properly. Well, without a big cardboard box. So, it's kind of... Yeah. Trying to find a... dual extrusion? What model is this? This is a Artist D Pro. We're on Idex when. Go bug Eddie the engineer. Follow him on Twitter. You know what? Let's just do the Aria. The good old Aria. Everyone likes the Aria dragon. Everyone likes the Aria dragon. So this is Ideamaker. Oop, why aren't you working? Did I lose my Stream Deck? How did I lose my Stream Deck? Come on, Stream Deck. You know you're not really a Stream Deck. Great. Desktop. Everything's broken tonight. Everything is broken tonight, guys. It's one of those nights. Okay, so we'll do the dragon and the silk. So that will be the left extruder. And that will be the right extruder. Select those. Where is this? Move, align together. There we go. Start slicing. Gonna heat the bed up. Slice. How do you drive the secondary carriage? They are both hooked up. They have separate motors. No, I don't want to shoot. Wrong button. Yeah, water dissolvable filament isn't cheap. Start slicing. There we go. No support. So obviously this print is not going to finish on stream, just so you guys know. Oh. Idex is slow. At least this printer. I don't have a fast profile for this. Oh my god, no camera sucks. Why is not my stream deck work? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, it's working now. And we're SD card in it. It will take forever. Yeah, this was a... Now, honestly, I printed this a little too solid. Like, my settings were a little too heavy duty. This was near a 24-hour print. So, this ain't voron speeds. Yeah. And my XY offsets are actually a little off, unfortunately, but good enough. Water dissolvent can be relatively cheap if you don't use it as a layer between the model. Yeah, so you print like your cheap PLA all the way up, and then the actual layer that is the layer you need to dissolve away, you print with that. But it depends on the model, because some models, if you have like enclosed features that you want it to be supported, you can't do that, obviously. So, yeah, spoiled by voron speeds. Oh, believe me. I know that feel, bro. I know that feel. Let's get this going. And while it's doing that, I gotta get Toasty heated up and remove some plastic. The thing is, though, with the water soluble, here is the problem with water, with the method where you just use PETG, okay? Popular all time. See if I can find the model, because this is what I want to try. See if I can find it. It's the model Ultimaker uses for their demo. Hips dissolves in lye. I'm sorry, I don't have bodies to hide, so I don't have lye sitting around. And I kind of don't want that in my house with the little guy, unfortunately. What is that model that Ultimaker uses? It's like it's a gyroscope thing. Seen it on Thangiverse. But yeah, anyways, the thing is that I want to test printing something that you literally cannot print unless you dissolve out the supports. So, like a bearing or something like that. So that is what I want to test. That's why you need the dissolvable filament. Ideamaker works for the D Pro. This is the D Pro. This is an Artist D Pro. With the spider board, do you have to flash the bootloader? You flash it the same thing like the SKRs, where you flash it via an SD card, and then I think once it's flashed once, you can flash it over USB. I believe so. I've only flashed mine the once, and I haven't reflashed it since. Okay, so heat up Hotend because I got to get the filament out. So the filament from this stuff. This is the Ultra PA that Fadis sent with their engineering box. And this is PA16 nylon. This stuff is rigid AF with the carbon fiber, or the glass. This is glass filled. It's not carbon fiber, it's glass filled. So this is what we're gonna be using to mount our dragon in Toasty. Thing is, though, right now there's filament in it, so I got to heat it up. PA12. Yep. How am I doing? I'm doing good tonight. Other than a whole bunch of technical issues and the fact that I don't have my wireless headphones, so I'm hearing really loud, annoying fans all night. And we spent the day out. We did a little family day. We did a little bit of adventuring, and unfortunately, that was a long day, so we're all kind of tired. That's why, if you notice, the stream was kind of last minute. Normally, I'm more prepared when I go live. Yeah, the Prime line is slow. This is all default. This is like, right now, this thinks it is a raised 3D Pro. So it's a little funky, to put it mildly. Oh, I gotta heat that up more. 300. Like, this isn't ABS. I can't extrude it at 230. See if we can find a good spot for this camera tonight for this. Oh, and another thing, the bed on this, I'm not a huge fan of. The bed is like it is a flex plate, but it's not a spring steel one or anything. I have a spare 300mm flex plate, spring steel one. I'm probably gonna swap it in. There we go, okay. So retract 100 at okay, so now we gotta let that cool off. 0. Part fan at max. And let that cool off, because I don't feel like grabbing a 300-degree hot end. Do I know if there's a place that sells the 2040 slot covers like this printer? Oh yeah, the little slot covers. You can find them on AliExpress. I used to have some, and I lost them. I don't know where they are, because I actually want to use them for something. But I believe you can find them on AliExpress. They're not, just look for just search extrusion slot cover. It's not a hard item to get. Those mounting parts. Which mounting parts are you talking about? Switch the webcam? Yeah, if you want. You can print them too. Just getting, Willie Pro, 63, $5. Thank you, appreciate it. Just getting into 3D printing. Is there any recommendations you have for someone who isn't too familiar with all the ins and outs yet? In terms of YouTubers, you have, well, myself, and then you have Joel, 3D printing nerd, Stefan, CNC Kitchen. You also have Tom, of Tom 3D. There's a whole bunch of them. Teaching tech for basic stuff. I haven't watched him in a while. I know a lot of his stuff is very focused on the newbies. Chuck Hellebuck, I think that's how you pronounce it. He does a lot of newbie stuff too. So, too close? No, first layer is pretty good actually on this guy. Right now we're just waiting on Toasty to cool down so I don't grab a 300-degree hot end. Chris's basement too, yep. Maker's Muse, yeah, Maker's Muse. He doesn't really do a lot of intro to 3D. Does he do? I don't know. It's been a while. I don't know. A lot of these guys have been sub 4 for a while, so I don't know what their newbie content is. I know my channel, I don't do a lot of very newbie printer stuff. Like tutorials on how to install Clipper and whatnot. There's about as newbie stuff as I get. I don't go Like, this is how you set up a printer for the first time. I don't have a lot of that stuff on my channel. I feel others have done it enough that me doing another how to put together an Ender 3 isn't exactly something I want to do. So. Chris is building a V0? Oh, nice. Yeah, everyone's building V0s. They're fun. I don't know where mine's at. Oh, yeah, mine's on the... I'm starting to actually make more room in this room, so mine's down here. I gotta get... I want to do some resin printing, but... So, here's my problem. Here's my conundrum. And here's the situation I'm in right now. I want to be doing more for the channel. I've got, you know, I want to do a clipper screen video. I want to do tutorials on how to set up like multiple different, like how in Clipper, how you can add, you know, multiple MCUs, that kind of thing. The problem is, this is all I have for workspace. The rest of the room is literally full of printers and stuff. So if I already have a printer on my desk, I have like a 1 foot area right here. This is it right here. This is all I have to work with. So I really need to figure like something out. What do you know what? I've been using Clipper for a little over a year now, and I was one of the late adopters of Clipper on the Voron team. Personally, I think the Duet's good hardware. I like Clipper because it is completely hardware agnostic. You can run Clipper on pretty much any 3D printer controller. You don't need to buy a Duet to run RepRap firmware. Now, there are other boards now that you can run RepRap on. So, for example, where is it? Yeah. So, for example, like right now, you know, if you want to run RepRap for the longest time, you needed a Duet. But now you have stuff like the Fly board. I have a Mellow Fly RRF board in my Ender 3. That's running RepRap firmware. That's a single board solution. So there is more out there now for RepRap firmware. But for the longest time, you had to buy a Duet. Where Clipper, you can run it on anything. You can run Clipper on a ramps and outrun RepRap firmware on a Duet too, in terms of the ability to output commands fast. Is that part? Why are you not extruding? You might have an issue. Works on most SKR. I think it doesn't only work on some of the newer SKR boards. Like I don't think you can run RepRap firmware on like a 1.4. How did I break it? I closed it. I broke the guidler on my V0 on the mini afterburner. I closed it and the teeth weren't aligned and I kind of forced it closed and it snapped. To fix it, I just printed a new one, made sure the gears were mostly lined up when I put it together, and I actually reprinted it because that's what I had loaded at the time in some polycarbonate. What are we doing today? I'm waiting on that to cool down so that I can swap the Toolhead out to a Dragon Voron edition, and we're doing some dual extrusion printing. So print and chill. And then if you're looking for something to do at home, go on the link below, go on Thangs and print yourself one of these fancy tensegrity towers table things. So look, physics. It floats on a single strand of filament. It's print in place too. I love print in place models. As somebody who comes from like an injection molding background, print in place models are awesome. Oh, it is running on SKR 1.3 and 1.4. Cool. The thing is though, RepRap firmware doesn't support webcams. So if you want a webcam, you have to have a whole separate system, whereas we're running a Raspberry Pi, so you can plug a webcam in. Also, I found like input shaper. Finally, now RepRap firmware is getting input shaper. I used both for years. I ran RepRap firmware on my V226 here, ran RepRap firmware until late last year. Since switching it to Clipper, the moment I switched to Clipper, the prints got better on this machine. Now, I was running an old version of RepRap firmware from like late 2018, but the exact same hardware with Clipper, literally the same controller even. I installed Clipper on that Duet. I got better prints. The motion planner is better in my opinion. The way it handles input or pressure advance is better. It's got smooth pressure advance versus the more, the sharper pressure advance that like Marlin and RepRap firmware use. And it's easier to add stuff to it. People are adding more stuff to Clipper faster than RepRap and Marlin. So, well, I know you can do that too, John. But I'm just not saying like RepRap by itself. You still need the Pi, and at that point, if I'm adding a Pi to a system, I'm going to run Clipper. I should probably turn this off. Yeah. Can I reach back there to turn it off without getting all awkward? Off. Oh no, my glue stick. Unplug that. Unplug that. Now you may be asking why I'm not using the ES126. The reason I'm not using the ES126 is because my M3 bit I dropped, and I don't know where it went. Damn it. There we go. And that is the last mosquito that I had in a printer. Out. What, Doc here? Oh no, Doc's here. Everyone hide. Stuck the hex key in my ear. Why would I do that? Printing problems with the Bondtech double gear extruder, the small ones at least. No, mine are fine. I'm running LGXs in both my V2s. Tallboy has an afterburner. I used to have a Galileo. I took it out to put the afterburner back in, just because I wanted to keep an afterburner on one of my machines. I have two mosquitoes that are collecting dust right now, and I bought them with my own money, and I'm so annoyed with the gunk and all that with them that I'm retiring them. So instead, now this is Toasty, so we're gonna go with a hardened steel with DLC coating nozzle. Why I'm moving away from the mosquito? Personally, ever since we had a group buy with them and they screwed over all the Canadians out of quite a bit of money because they'd use the incorrect shipping, and then when we complained, they said tough luck. I've never really liked the company because they financially screwed over me, myself, and a few of my cohorts in a group buy, and then they did nothing about it. So there's that reason. And two, I think the Dragon does what the Mosquito does better and cheaper, and I don't have to deal with the proprietary paste and the fat block that melts ducts, and I can do a screw to take my heater cartridge out, and instead of having to chip out paste and then reapply a paste that you can buy for $20 a gallon that they sell for $15 a tube. So, plus all the patent stuff that everyone's complaining about. But that's okay. On to bigger and better things. I need heater cartridges. Where are my heater cartridges? I have a whole bunch of heater cartridges. Where did I put them? I think they're in here. Heater cartridges, heater cartridges. Nope, nope. I'll put them down here. Heater cartridges, here we go. Oh, that too, they can't invent the sock. Now, granted, I'm not going to run a sock on this machine anyways because it's a high-temp machine, and silicone socks, I don't think do good at 320 degrees Celsius. The Dragon, so I have a Nozzle X. I'm going to try the Fadus nozzle just to see how it is because it came with it. But it does have that DLC coating, so it should be okay. We shall see. Yeah, so 280. Yeah, so I'm not going to go that hot. So, or I'm going to go that hot, so I can't use the... So we got new thermistor. Do that. I was just waiting for somebody to pop in chat and say, oh, you have to support them. You have to buy American. You have no idea how many times I've heard that. I'm not American. I know the sock is a mute point, but I just find that a funny point. It's they don't sell their $300 Hotend with a sock. Yeah, little Allen key. Here's my little Allen key. Go. So that is that. That is that. Where are my little screws? There we are. These the right size screws? Yes, they are. Selling socks. If I ever set up a merch store, I'll sell socks with mosquitoes on them just as a joke. I wonder if you could sell some sort of hydro that would repel plastic as well. Oh, Slice has that, but I think they had to remake it because originally they were just selling PTFE to paint on your nozzle, and we all know how well PTFE does at 240 degrees Celsius. How went your adventures with the BQH2? The first one that I had issues where it didn't work properly. The second one they sent me worked fine. However, it is inferior to better commercial offerings at near or the same price, such as the LGX or the Hemera. Unfortunately, it is a more compact, lighter design. I cannot recommend it simply for the fact that you cannot guarantee it will function out of the box. And I believe the manufacturing and steel choice for their gears, which are it's a type of tool steel that they use that I don't think too highly of. I've seen it in firearms and a few other components I'm familiar with, and it never lasts long. Like they just straight up like it's a crappy material. So because of that, I gotta put heat sets in here. Crud. Because of QC issues and the fact that it underperforms, and by underperforms I mean it literally can't go fast. It has issues trying to extrude fast. It has a very light heater block. It has the same heater block that the Mosquito uses, or the Dragon uses. However, it's machined out of aluminum, and it has issues with keeping thermal mass. So I found in testing that it couldn't push filament fast. And then once you add all the fans and everything, like, it's not compact once you add all your fans and everything to it, and it's not lighter. A mini afterburner right here is lighter than this, and you could put a full copper blocked Hotend in there. And what do you gain? You gain a 20 millimeter shorter filament path. Whoop-de-doo. I like the orbiter. I had the orbiter, or the orbiter itself. I have an orbiter. I haven't put it on a machine yet. I don't have a machine that I can easily put it into at this time. It's on my list of things I want to play with, but I do have one. I think it's a good extruder. If you need a lightweight extruder, it is nice. Now you may be asking, why am I not using the awesome brass heat set tool that came with my LDO V0 kit? Well, the funny thing is I dropped it and it broke. And I'm not happy about that at all, believe me. Believe me. How's this printing? Yeah, it's printing. There we go. Is the OEM BMG extruder? Here's the thing. If you're buying new, I would go with the LGX. The LGX isn't leaps and bounds better than a BMG. However, I like the larger gears better. You get a better grip on your filament. Less chance of imperfections in your extrusion because of a larger gear. It's smoother contact and whatnot. Like the whole issue 6, blah, blah, blah. Wood grain is apparently less on the LGX. And it's a newer design. So if you're buying new, go with the LGX. That's what I would say. But if you already have a BMG and you're not having issues with it, I wouldn't recommend upgrading to an LGX unless you really needed to. If that makes sense. Yeah, it's brass, but unfortunately it's got a really thin, like the pointy part that the heat set sits on is like 2 millimeters thick, and I dropped it. I had this on my table and it fell and it landed like that and the tip broke off. So I don't even know where it went. It went flying. So unfortunately, I killed it. And believe me, I'm not too happy about that. I really like that. Yeah, if you already have the BMG, use it. It's not outdated. You're comparing a 2010 Corolla to a 2011 Corolla. Like, yes, the newer one is better, but they're still good extruders, right? Yeah, I have a lathe at work. Like, I can make one. I can make one of these, no problem. It's just, I didn't realize it was broken until today. That's the part I didn't like. It's like, I'm gonna use it tonight. No, I'm not. It's broken. Shit. BMG would be better than the $10 Creality. Oh yeah, the stock Creality extruder, that single geared, a single straight tooth geared extruder, or a single straight tooth feed extruder, that needs to go bye bye. That tech is so old. So need a mini lathe at home. Honestly, I think I'd get more out of a Bridgeport, but every now and then I pop online the local buy sell groups to see if there is one or some sort of small manual mill of some sort. I got no luck locally, unfortunately. Which really sucks. I live in a town with a lot of manufacturing. Like, I work in the tool and mold trade. You think there would be more of that kind of thing available locally? Nothing. Niente. It sucks. Okay. So, they're both there. So let me make these both the same length. Let me get my kit of... Get that. Gonna need my crimper. Piece of Bowden tube out. Put that in here. Put my 2 more screws in there to hold it in place. Dragon or dragonfly? It's a high flow dragon. That's another reason I want to put this in here. It's high flow, and the mosquito I have is only standard flow. So. In Cleveland, the problem is Cleveland's on the other side of the border. One-to-one extruders worth something. Are you talking about like ungeared extruders? Personally, I'm not a huge fan of ungeared extruders, simply for the fact that the heat of the stepper motor can get transferred into the feed gear, which can get transferred into the filament, which can cause slipping and grinding. So, where's the rabbit? Oh, the Lolo Bunny. It's upstairs. I have like a shelf upstairs in the living room with like a whole whack load of prints, and that's where that's at. I posted pictures of it on Reddit. The amount of adult comments. Reddit's weird. I don't even want to say what a lot of the comments were, because I had to Google some things to understand what people were talking about, and I'm really not happy that I now know. some of those things. Well, what is voron multi-material? I hate these tables. Rabbit feeder. The rabbit feeder is not an official voron thing, but technically the rabbit feeder is compatible with any printer running Clipper. So yes, you could put it on a V0 if you really wanted to. Although to work best, I do believe it has to have a standard size afterburner tool head, because there's an end stop in there for measuring when the filament actually makes it into the tool head. So I believe it is compatible, but it's not optimized. The Dragon High Flow is the same length? Yes, it's the same length. I hate fiberglass insulation. I really hate fiberglass insulation. Here, watch it print while I fiddle with this. There we go. Okay, one. There we go. Oh, it's shaking because the thing's sitting on the printer. There you go. The long pause is because it has to... So, I've tried to cheat it by telling it not to drop the temperature. However, it still waits for that moment for the temperature to stabilize after a tool change before moving on to the next, before printing again. So that's kind of one of the problems I'm running into. Like, see right now, it's at 209, 210 because the temperature just happened to drop a degree. And now it's got to wait for it to stabilize before it continues on. You know, I told it to keep a consistent temperature. So, yeah. That's like one of the things that, coming from somebody who has more of a machinist background, who knows a bit about CNC from, you know, I'm not a machinist at work, I'm a tool maker, but I work around CNC machines. There are things that 3D printers don't do that are so common in CNC world that it's like, why the heck aren't we doing this? Like, look ahead. So, hey, why can't the firmware look ahead to see what's coming up next? So if this toolhead knows that, hey, this toolhead will be done its operation in X amount of time. Why don't I start heating up and start priming? So that way, the moment this is done, as this is moving out of the way, this one's ready to go and moves right in. Because see, it's got to move out of the way. This one's got to make its way over. The temperature was luckily on the ball, so I didn't have to wait for it to reheat. But it's like, they can't look ahead. Like, 3D printing firmware is so behind on features. Like, at least with Clipper, we start seeing things where it's, hey, it's running off of a central unit with slaved controllers to it. Which some people think that's backwards and that's not firmware, which is hilarious because that's how multi-million-dollar CNC machines are run. Like, yeah. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Remember, like, CNC machines can, like, judge loads on tool heads, auto-compensate speeds and feeds for vibration and whatnot. Where here in 3D printing land, it's like, we just got input shaper. Did I grab the wrong... Ah, these are the wrong... These are the wrong ones. These are the right ones, yeah. These are DuPont. Why do I have DuPont connectors in here? Dustin, I tried Super Slicer originally with this. However, something is weird with Super Slicer and Prusa Slicer with this machine in particular, because I run dual extrusion on the switch wire with Prusa Slicer, no problem. But on here, when I try it, it's supposed to do a filament retraction when it docks the head. With Super Slicer and Prusa Slicer, you know, I tell it to do a 4mm retraction, and if you look at the G code, the -4mm E1 or E2 is there. It just doesn't do it. It does not carry out the command. I don't know why. But with Cura and Ideamaker, or is it Idealmaker or Ideamaker? It works. So I got it working now, so I'm just gonna stick with it. Because let's be honest, this is running Marlin, I don't know which version. After the review's done, it's probably gonna get Clipper. Yeah, it could do both tool heads at the same time. I've already if you're following me on Twitter at 3DPNero, and if you're not, you should be. I posted a video of it doing that, and it can do the it could do mirrored as well. So, for example, I printed both the Lucky Cats at the same time, and it can also do mirrored, so it can print like a left-hand and a right-hand version. Hunches it switched over from the T0 when I read the retraction. Yeah, I have a feeling it has to do something with like order of operations or something. Because I don't know what like the internal macro for the tool changes on this guy. It's like one of those reasons I will never go back to Marlin is having to compile and reflash to change anything versus, hey, oh my god, what am I doing? I want to change some firmware settings. Okay, let me go to system. Oh wait, printer's not on. Can't connect when the printer's not on. There you go. This printer's connected. It's like, oh hey, I want to go to configuration, printer config, edit. I could change anything I want in this printer right now, hit save and restart, and it's done. Rep firmware can do the same thing. And that's awesome. But I will never go back to Marlin because of the inability to do that. Can I use Prusa Slicer on any printer? Yep, you can. I used to use Prusa Slicer on my Vorons, and then I switched to Super Slicer, which is like a more robust version of Prusa Slicer. Kira has a problem with the purge line with this printer. I remember it working okay, I think, but that depends on what your actual purge line G-code is, I think. That is the one knock that I have against this printer. It does not come with a slicer config. Like most printers, you know, you can go to their website and they'll have like a default config or something. This does not. Like the instruction manual, where did I have it? I had the instructions somewhere. Yeah, here it is. So the manual is actually a decent manual, okay? I give them credit for that. But the manual for a slicer just says, create a custom printer, create it at this size, tell it has 1.75 millimeters. Sorry. Oh, and Josh, thank you for the $5. I did see that. Appreciate that. Yep, there we go. I needed to get my metrics up. According to YouTube, the metrics weren't doing too good. I had to bump them up. I'm unmuted now. You could stop. Stop with the Fs. Stop. Stop with the Fs. The chart is moving. It's moving. Oh, you guys. Manuel, $7.99. Thank you. Appreciate it. Got your printer up and running. Awesome. That's good to hear, man. That's awesome.
B2.1694 is a reality thanks to you and your videos.
Okay, so what was I saying? This printer does not ship with a profile. On their website now, they have an Ideamaker configuration for the printer, but it's a printer profile. So when you load it up, it tells it, Ideamaker, okay, it's a dual extrusion printer, this size and whatnot. But the actual slicer profile doesn't exist. Printers, in my opinion, anything that is off the shelf should come with at least a default profile that's mostly tuned for like at least acceptable quality. It doesn't have to be like a complete in-depth profile, but it should be able to, you know, I should be able to download your profile off the site, load up a file and hit print, and I should get a decent print, okay? I shouldn't have to go through and tune it. So that is something I'm gonna knock against this printer because it does not have one, unfortunately. I didn't do it for the memes. I threw this on my thing and it bumped the mute button. It also changed it to the starting screen. So. What if you copy paste G-code from slice G-code file on the SD card and use that inside Cura? Yeah, I could do that. But I don't know what version of Cura they sliced it in, right? So it might not be the same. It might not be compatible. So let's put this guy in. Should I torque it? Heat it up. And get it printing. Yep. There we go. Where are those long ones? There they go. Yeah, the Bowden's the same length. I think I have 410 installed on here for Cura, but again, all my other than this guy, I'm using Ideamaker. Everything else, I'm running Super Slicer. Because Super Slicer is my jam right now. Honestly, Cura's not bad. I ran Cura for years. Okay, so that one is
I am loving my V0.1.
here.
After a couple PLA prints to verify
That.
everything is working, it is chewing through the first roll of off.
Turn the printer back on. Ippity. Reach back here. Feed filament back into the printer. On, put that in the middle, close my door. There we go. Yeah, Super Slicer is really nice. Super Slicer is basically Prusa Slicer, but it has some tweaks to the way certain things are operated. It's less hand holding, a lot less hand holding. And it opens up a lot more settings that you can play around with. So now we'll do a PID tune, and we'll actually print something on this guy. So you can watch that do that in the meantime. So since this printer prints a lot of hot stuff, we'll PID tune at like 260, I think. Is it reading temperature right? Yep, we're reading temperature right. There we go. And we're heating up, so we're good there. Oh my god, everyone's here. You want to say goodnight to everyone? You gonna say goodnight? Say goodnight. Look at you. Oh. Goodnight. You gonna say goodnight? Why are you looking at your hand? You got toothpaste on your hand? What are you doing? What are you doing? Did you behave for mama? No? Yeah, what are you doing still up? It's 9. It's 9:15. You should be sleeping. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You go sleepy.
Doggo, kiddo.
Kids. I missed some donations earlier. I'm sorry. Chris, thank you for becoming a member. Luke, $5. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Loving my 0.1 after a couple PLA prints. Verify everything is working. Chewing through ABS. Awesome. Duff, $13.99. Kiddo and doggo combination. And Dustin, 20. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Buy that kid some candy. He has enough candy. He's being a butt right now. He should be sleeping, but no, he's awake.
Buy that kid some candy.
Positive Wave, 549. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for the videos. Going to jump in and source a V2.4 to 3D print my son. With my son Ben. Awesome. He's 14 and take up the hobby. That's awesome to hear, man. I'm just waiting for my little guy to get old enough that I can start doing stuff with him.
He is 14 and wants to take up the hobby.
You think you'll have him help out in the print shop? Of course I'm going to have him help in the print shop. So, now I've got 2 skeeters. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Maybe I'll put them in enders. I have seen the water-cooled dragon, and thank you for the 2 pounds. 2 pounds. I'm not a huge fan of water-cooled Hotends. This guy right here, I've printed 300 degrees on the hot end in a chamber that's 60 degrees Celsius. I'm having no issues with heat creep. Like this is having no problem not being with air cooling, fully enclosed. Really, water cooling is for guys printing Peak and Ultim. You really should not need to water cool a hot end on a home machine, really. How do I deal with ventilation? I don't. I plug everything up in this room. Like, this room is fully sealed up. The vent's sealed up. I keep the door closed when the prints are running. And even these printers, all the panels, it's all closed up with gasket sealant. Send them with the octopuses. Oh yeah, I gotta give away that. Yeah, and water cooling on moving parts. I don't trust water lines at 300 millimeters a second and 10K Excel. Other than tinkering, what do I use the 3D printers for? At this point, I use a lot of it for the videos, because on the YouTube channel, like instructionals and whatnot, and like, obviously I'm printing a bunch of stuff with this guy for review purposes and whatnot. But I've printed a few things around the house, some mounts, toys, stuff like that. I print for some people at work in a few different hobbies. One guy's into RC stuff, so I print a few things for him every now and then. So, water cooled 2 hours power spin. See, the water cooling setups on CNCs are a little bit different than 3D printers. Plus, if it blows, you don't have a mains voltage and all your electronics directly below it usually. You know, the spindle's usually mains. When I do, well, I haven't done a lot of reviews on my channel, but usually if I'm reviewing, I just talk about what I like, what I don't like, and then if I think it's worth it or not. So far this machine isn't too bad, other than software issues. And by software issues, I mean lack of a proper slicer configuration. Because that's really the only thing I'm not liking about this printer so far. Use brake lines and fitting liquid cooling move brake lines that are meant to handle all kinds of shock and movement. Yeah, you could. I just honestly think water cooling is overkill on a 3D printer, unless you are printing in an oven. What's my favorite voron printer to build? Well, I built V2s many times, and I like my V2s. Like, V2 is like the bread and butter voron. It's when you think of voron, you think of V2. V80 tune is done. Let's print something. Let's print something. Let's do a carbon fiber nylon katana. Now this isn't working again. Why aren't you working? There we go. Independent, yeah, Idex is independent dual extruder. Ooh, missed one. Tagly, $20. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Josh is out. Bye, Josh. So this is one of those collapsing things. So it's got multiple different layers. Export G-code. Oh, it's still slicing. But while that's doing that, let's heat up Toasty. There we go. Matte colors. I do love matte colors, honestly. Like matte filaments, I love. Printing Pixel Buds 2 charging dock at the moment. Nice. So we're gonna wait for that to heat up. I'm gonna go get a drink. So here, you can enjoy this printer printing. It's stringing a little bit, but that's the silk filament. Silk filament strings, I find. And it's under extruding quite a bit, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm knocking this printer for, is it doesn't have a good profile. And I'm not really sure what's wrong with it. You need a Mac? Why would I need a Mac? Do I have any? No, okay, Scalp. So, my spider board is the very first revision one. I got it when they shipped out all the, they expressed mine, but mine is from the first batch that went out. And I don't have any issues with mine. I know other people's are having issues with theirs. At this point, I would recommend an octopus over a spider simply for the QC issues. What printer did I put the pit foot on? What's a pit foot? I don't know what a pit fit is. Oh, the little guy's being a butt upstairs. I can hear him. Ever tried Johnny? I like Johnny Walker. I'm not a fan of blended Scotch whiskeys. I prefer like non-blended. Oh, the Pi TFT. I haven't put it on anything yet. I have it. Where is it? Yeah, so this guy right here, this is a BTT TFT50. This I will be putting in a printer. I think I'm going to put this, because I have this and this. So this will run Clipper screen, and it attaches via the ribbon cable to a Raspberry Pi. So I need to buy a longer ribbon cable, because I think I'm going to put this guy on Tallboy, because right now Tallboy just has a Mini 12864. And then this guy, which is actually USB. This actually runs its own controller. This guy, I think I'm going to put on Toasty right here. We'll see. Or I might put this on Toasty and put this on the V0. I don't know yet. So I'll be back in a minute or so. I'm gonna go get a drink. I suggest you guys go get a drink as well. So, I'll be back. Also, my little guy, I can hear him being a butt upstairs. So, yeah. Kids are fun. I'll be back. I am back. Okay, is it worth upgrading an 8-bit board to printer? Right now the Nitrim is doing like 4-minute benchies on an Idex, or correction, on a Delta with a Tri-Gorilla 8-bit board with Clipper. The thing is, 32-bit boards are the modern boards that have all the extra fans and features and support, and they work better with the TMC drivers and whatnot. So if you're buying a new board, get a 32-bit board. Don't buy an 8-bit board today's day and age, unless you're lulzbot. But if you already have an 8-bit board in your machine and it has all the hookups that you need, and you don't plan on swapping out or adding any additional hardware down the line, just flash Clipper on it and you're good. Especially on like a bed flinger machine. You're not going to see any noticeable difference going to 32-bit. The child still lives. He is being an absolute butt though right now and not going to bed, so... do I use the LGX? Yeah, so both these two are running LGXs. I have an afterburner in Tallboy. I'm going to be putting a... okay. I took the Galileo out of Tallboy because the Galileo is going to go in switch wire with the... when I rip out the dual extrusion and put a rabbit feeder on it. So the Rage rabbit feeder is carrot feeder, whatever the heck it's called. The 6-unit multi-material extruder is going on switch wire, and that will get the LDO at that point. No whiskey tonight. Tonight we are actually, I had to, don't tell the wife, I don't have beer and I'm out of whiskey. So we are drinking Mike's hard white freezer, which tastes like white freezing. It's actually delicious. Carrot feeder soon. I am waiting on Our good friend DFH will be selling kits on his website, and once all the bells and whistles are ironed out, I will be using his kit to build one. So yes, Carrot Feeder is in the lineup. Am I happier with the LGX? I went with the LGX because this is a production machine. I use the crap out of this machine. And the LGX is a commercial off-the-shelf product that has a warranty, and you don't have to worry about misassembling anything. Is it worth the price premium? Your average person will not be able to tell. If I take a print that I printed on here before I had the LGX with the Afterburner, and I print off here after I installed the LGX and put them side by side and didn't tell you which one was which, I guarantee you 99% of people can't tell the difference. Can't hear anything. That's not good. I thought my hearing was going. Can a Raspberry plus Clipper run? 1 second here. Oop. Chris Valerie, $10. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, here we go. Oh, he is being a butt upstairs. I can hear him. I think this is the vent. No, that's not the video I want. Yep, here we go. Okay. So this is a 4-minute and 30-second benchy by Nitram. On his heavily modded Anycubic something. Anycubic Cossel. And he is running 2130s with a Tri-Gorilla, I believe. Yeah, Tri-Gorilla at Mega 2650. So an 8-bit board with a 2130, which is the, you know, they're out of date now. You should be running 2209s or 2208s. 2209s are upgraded 2208s. So yeah, so an 8-bit board with 2130s, and he's doing a 4-minute benchy on a Delta. Clipper's magic. Is there advantage to FluidPi versus Mainsail? Go with whichever one you like the interface more. Personally, I like FluidPi. Is my screen frozen? Try refreshing. Because I'm back. TMC 2209 versus 2226. I never used 2226. I only use 2209s on all my machines, and I don't have any issues with any of them, so. Scalpchen, thank you for becoming a member. So there we go. Okay. Upload. Collapsing Katana. So this, unfortunately, is a 12-hour print. So the Collapsing Katana won't be done till tomorrow. Derek, $10. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for the Ender 3 V2 Clipper videos. Never would have been able to install Clipper without it. Awesome. That's good to hear that it helped. That's why I did it.
Thank you for the Ender 3 V2 Clipper video. I never would have been able to install Clipper without your video.
Has YouTube fixed the channel? Yes, YouTube has fixed my channel. Hopefully you guys are seeing all them glorious ads before my videos now. So for those that were unaware, my channel was kind of broken for like a year. And I turns out it was broken. They told me nothing was wrong. There was something wrong. They told me how to fix it, which was not the right way to fix it. It was the easy way on their end to fix it. I finally got it fixed right. I'm now receiving ad revenue on my channel. Do you find myself resin printing a lot? It's back there. The last thing I printed with the Lola Bunny, I'm probably gonna print something this week for a video. I don't use it anywhere as much as my other printers, but for what it does it very well. Like, for high detail models that, especially anything with curves, like you can't go wrong with a resin printer. I showed you the Lola Bunny, but I don't have it in this room. Like, it's just insane what you can do with a resin printer. But it's a nightmare to work with in terms of like having to deal with all the post-processing and everything. YouTube Premium bucks. YouTube Premium bucks are actually pretty decent. Hopefully the XY is in the right position with this guy. Hey, it's good we didn't crash. And filament is leaking out, so I did prime enough. So we're good. Oh wait, I am back. I don't need to grab a drink. Getting a little crowded. Yep, it is. I'm running out of room in this room. And it sucks because it's not like... I have looked into like... The problem is, the channel is doing well. We're gonna have a little state of the channel meeting right now. The channel is doing well. I'm not at full time being able to do this yet. But if it continues on the growth that it has been, that is a possibility in the future. So I have been looking into, like, you know, Joel has a studio, like a little thing. Because the problem is, I already have like 10 printers now? 11 printers? I don't even know how many printers I have right now. And I'm running out of room. So if I ever do this full time, something fell. I wouldn't want to be doing this at home, right? But there is no cheap places around me to rent. Okay, I gotta watch this to make sure it works. Oh, wrong button. There you go. There we go. Did I screw up and not set that for... Oh. 1 second here. I think I set the... Yeah, every additional layer. There we go. This stuff loves printing at 300. There we go. Now it's printing right. Should bump that up a bit. So the problem is I'm watching it print a first layer of black plastic on a black PEI surface. So it's like, I think it's okay. Jericho, thank you for becoming a member. Chris Riley sells old idle. So here's the thing. The A5S. The A5S I gave away to a family member. That one's already gone. The Ender 3 I'm keeping because I need to do a video on it. I've done a bunch of upgrades to it. I just don't have time to finish it and record the video. I'm hoping soon. So I'm going to use the Ender 3 for something, obviously. This guy I'm going to keep because it's the only Idex printer I have. So I want to keep an Idex. And then my vorons, which I built. I'm not getting rid of my vorons because I built them. So it's not, I don't have like a plethora of random Chinese V-wheel printers to give away. I really only have the one, and I want it because that is the one I have. It's an Ender 3. Like, how can you be a printer reviewer without an Ender 3? So, going forward though, I won't be doing printer reviews often. I'm doing a review on this, a video review on this. That was the stipulation to get one of these, is I had to do a video review on it, not just a live stream. So I will be doing a video review on this printer. And then I'm going to keep it because it's a nice printer. I got to work out some bugs with it, but in the long term, I'm sure I'll get some use out of it. But I get an email every 2 to 3 days from a company trying to send me a generic V-Wheel i3 off AliExpress. And yeah, no. Large shed with some insulation and a mini split. I might turn my garage into one. I gotta figure it out. My first layer is off. I gotta fix it. Yeah, that was way off. Where is my spatula? There's my spatula. So this first layer was a write-off. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's way too close. Way too close to bed. Yeah, that was way too close to bed. So that ZF's offset I'm gonna have to change. There we go. Paper towel. Where's my paper towels? There they are. We've got the Mingdom Edition live stream coming. Good times. So Andrew, and thank you for the $5. That was the machine I'm supposed to do tonight. The Mingda is on its way. However, FedEx is delayed. So I'm waiting for it to show up so that I can review it, obviously. So once it shows up, I'll review it, but I'm waiting for it to show up, which it has not showed up yet. However, once it does show up, I will review it. And yes, I'm using glue stick. Glue stick on a PEI bed with nylon works beautifully, in my experience. Yes, so the Magician's on a fully plastic frame. Here's the thing. I am going to give it a fair review. I know Chris didn't like it. Joel had issues with it. And let's be honest, it's probably not a great printer. But I am going to give it a fair review. I am going to look at it. And when it comes to the plastic frame, it has a plastic bed mount. And the X carriage is all plastic. Vorons all have plastic X carriages. A plastic bed frame. Can somebody tell me the forces exerted on the bed of a 3D printer and the tool head of a 3D printer during normal operations? What is acting to push the tool head and the bed on a 3D printer during normal operations? Anyone able to tell me? Momentum, not much. Exactly. 3D printers aren't a CNC machine. There is no cutting forces involved. There is no tool head load involved. The only forces of acting upon a 3D printer during normal operation is the increased weight of the printed object on the bed and the motion of the printer. So a plastic frame isn't a problem as long as the bed doesn't move during the print. So if you grab the bed and shake it, yes, it moves. But you know what? If I do that to my V0, it moves too. There we go. That's a much better looking first layer. So it really comes down to, is it rigid enough? It doesn't have to be perfectly rigid. It just has to be rigid enough. So concern from heat from the bed. You do know a ton of engine bay components in modern cars are made from plastic. Like I build the tools for them all the time. I built intake manifolds for engines out of, well, I built the molds that make intake manifolds for engines out of plastics. As long as they use the right type of plastic, there should be no problem. Somebody tell me what the bed mounts for this guy are made out of? It's plastic. It's a 2020 frame, but the front's plastic. The V0, the actual bed mounts, the parts where the springs sit that mount the bed, are plastic. As long as you use the right kind of plastic for the application. Now, after the Chris video, they sent me a whole little email with talking points. They didn't tell me what kind of plastic it is. However, if they used a glass-filled polypro, a glass-filled nylon, a polycarbonate, some other higher temp plastic, it really shouldn't be an issue. Tesla doesn't use a lot of some plastic, yeah, like the bumpers and whatnot, which I built. Here's the problem, though. I might sit down and make a video about this one day. But anytime I hear somebody complain about a cheap printer having cheap parts, I have no sympathy for anyone. Because this is what you want. People keep bitching about, I want a cheaper printer, I want a cheaper printer. What is the cheapest printer? How do I build a voron cheaper? How do I do this cheaper? I want the cheapest extruder, I want the cheapest printer. The only reason the Aquila and the, what's the other one, exists is because they're doing well because they're just cheaper Ender 3s. If people keep wanting cheaper printers, companies are gonna have to keep cutting corners. And either they cut corners on material or they cut corners in quality. So, company comes out with cheap printers. People are complaining that they're cheap, but still want cheaper printers. All the praising of plastic. You know, the shop I work at throws out as much plastic in a day as I will probably ever use in my entire life 3D printing. So, and that's a small shop. The $1 Million Man. I'd show the clip, but I'd probably get demonetized. With PA, you can't cut corners. Ah, I see what you did there. Like, honestly, you want a precision CNC machine capable of extruding molten plastic to... I've seen people like... Who was it? I've seen people like complain to me, like send questions to me. My voron cube, I can't get it within 0.02 millimeters. How do I fix this? 0.02 millimeters. That's like a human hair. Like, well, a human hair is like 3 to 4 thou, I think. So that's 0.1. So it's a little bit bigger than a human hair. 0.0, or no, that's 0.02. Yeah, it was complaining about 0.02 millimeters. Because 0.1 millimeters is 4 thou, which is a human hair. So it's a quarter of a human hair. Like... Put a mill on it after it's printed. Yeah. No thermal runaway. Well, here's the thing. Thermal runaway has nothing to do with cost. It's literally a line of code in Marlin that all these printers just need to enable. Which, that's another thing I'm doing on. I'm doing a video on thermal runaway because I've seen a I want to do a video on how it's safe but not safe. Because I've seen fails, some pretty gnarly fails, even with it. Do I have a Voron Dragon? Yeah, you can see it right now. Ooh, wrong button. It's in there right now. Go to, I think last week's video I unboxed it. Or was it the week before? I can't remember. What is an expensive 3D hobby printer? A Voron. And they're very good for their price, I believe. Oh, that's gonna come out nice. Oh, that's gonna be a nice blade. It'll be all Mall Ninja. Arlo, yes, a lot of the heater cartridges and a lot of cheap printers are cheap. But no, if you haven't had a chance yet, let me see if I can find it. So, if you haven't had a chance yet, go watch this video from Maker's Muse. I'll put it in the chat here. So, he did a pretty good video today about like, or not today, this was a couple days ago, but just talking about like 3D printing companies and like his experience with them. And I see a lot of what he's talking about. I get 2 to 3 emails a week from companies offering to send me stuff. And a lot of the times it's garbage. I'm not going to review. I won't take a printer if it's something that I don't think I'll get anything out of. I took the I'm going to take the Magician because it's different enough. A generic V-Wheel i3 I won't touch anymore. I got the Ender 3. Why would I need another Ender 3? I don't care if it's a little bit cheaper. It's going to perform exactly the same. But let's be honest. 99% of printer quality comes down to your slicer nowadays. So... But hey, we'll send you a laser engraver, and all it is just an XY frame with a 40-watt laser diode strapped to it. No enclosure, nothing. I'm like, I ain't touching that with a 30-foot pole. I have a kid in the house. So. I just bought a Guider 2S, which is not cheap enough. Guider 2S. What is a Guider 2S search? Oh, that was the one 3D Print General was talking about. Search. FlashForge. Oh, yeah, FlashForge. Yeah, I want to touch FlashForge. Guider 2S. See, I look at this, and what do I see? I see a plastic box with, like, the frame is all plastic. This looks like those Dremel ones. No, I don't want to quote. Yeah, it looks like one of those Dremel machines. Crappy touchscreen. Yeah, see, so this is the only metal in the printer, and then everything else is plastic. Ooh, it's got auto bed leveling. The future. How are those Dremel printers? Like, if you're asking how they are, I remember seeing them years ago at a Canadian Tire had one, and I looked at it, I'm like, wow, that's cheap. So, yeah. Have I talked about upside down FDM? I seen that. Okay, so let me find it here. Upside down printer. Yeah, this guy. So this was the printer he's talking about. I'll put the video in chat here for those that want to watch it later. So the whole shtick with this printer is that it fits in a box of filament, okay? So it folds down to a box of filament. And it's got a pretty good print volume for its size, I will say. So the positron is 3,600 millimeters cubed, and which is more than a V0. But the thing is, it's got the I can't remember what the belts with the wires are called. Apparently I've looked into it. They apparently can stretch over time. That could be an issue. It's very low profile. I do give this credit. It's a very low profile kinematic system. But it uses a glass bed. I'm not a huge fan of glass beds, so you can see through it and watch your first layer going down. I'm sorry, I'm sold on PI flex plates. I'll never go back. But it prints upside down. It's very compact, and it's cool. And I've seen a lot of people like, oh, it's the future. The thing is, what was it, last week? We printed upside down. And there was no coincidence. That was just, hey, I need something to do on stream, so we printed upside down. And yes, the printer is very compact, but the printer also is missing pretty much everything. So I've got my V0 here. If I remove this extrusion, this extrusion, this extrusion, this extrusion, and flip it upside down, it's pretty much the same thing. So you're losing a whole enclosure. You're losing a whole square box frame to shrink it. So if you were to flip that printer over, is it still comparable? That's what I'm looking at. It's like, other than you take away the shtick, you take away the upside down printer that's what it's being sold as, the upside down printer. Is it still a good printer on its own? The base of it is a aluminum milled plate, so it's a custom milled plate. It uses a custom hot end. I think the BOM is out there now. The bill of materials. Let me see if I can find it. But it looks very custom. So here's the bill of materials. So it uses like NEMA 11s, brass worm gears. How do I say this? We've played with brass worm gears internally in design. They can be pretty dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, and they can have a lot of issues. So cost is $480, so that's not bad. But that's individual thing. But there's like a whole bunch of, a bottom machined plate, bed support arm, red aluminum bracket. This isn't an off the shelf like a voron, so you're gonna have to machine stuff or buy stuff machined. Salvage screws, does that count? So yeah, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. This is cool. I think it is a cool machine. I personally throw it in the same category as like a hang printer. Really cool to show off, but this isn't going to be your workhorse machine. This isn't going to be your everyday machine. So if you need something, if you need a 3D printer that can compact down, that fits inside a Prusa box, a filament box, this is pretty much your only option. But this isn't, if you're going to like, if this is the same as like, if you're going to have this fully assembled working on a desk all day, I think there's better options. This is the only reason I would see to get this is if you needed something that compacts that small. Because if you just needed a printer that sits on a desk, I could see much better options than this. It loses a lot of its appeal at that point. Send cut send. Yeah, you can get send cut send. Yeah, if you're in the US. Tom's auto bed. Yes, Matt, I've spoken to him about it. It's a cool thing. All I will say is Tom is getting his, he's getting plenty of content out of that voron. He really likes it. Yeah, I liked his video. I really did enjoy his video. I will say, both Tom and Joel are getting, their videos are getting better. I really do enjoy their current content. There was a while there where I wasn't watching a lot of either. But both of them, especially Joel, his current content is actually, I really like. Yeah. Do I prefer glue stick or hairspray? PI, man. Flex plate. Spring steel PI flex plate is where it's at. The only printer I use glue stick on is Toasty when I'm printing nylon, because nylon on bare PI can sometimes adhere, and you don't want that, like bond. So I use a thin layer of glue stick just for helping separate. CoreXY, is Joel Teaching Tech? No, Joel is 3D Printing Nerd. Teaching Tech is the one I don't really watch too much of, just because his content doesn't interest me. It's a lot of like newbie tutorial stuff. Is CoreXY still usable? CoreXY I don't think scales well. At large sizes, I think there's better kinematics than CoreXY. CoreXY is meant for a fast kinematic system, and once you go big with CoreXY, you can't go fast. So at that point, what's the point of using CoreXY? Smooth PI or textured? It depends. On my workhorse machines, like so Toasty, V226 here, I like smooth PI because smooth PI is usually a sticker, and you can replace it easily. You throw it in the freezer overnight, you wake up, you peel the PI off, then you take the plate, you put it in a shallow container with a dishwasher tab, let that dissolve for a couple hours. That will dissolve the glue, scrape off the glue, throw a new sticker on it, boom, you're good to go. Textured PI, if you ruin it and it wears out, you can't really refinish it. So I like the appearance of textured, so like Tallboy uses a textured plate sometimes. My switch wire is textured, my V0 is textured, but those are my PLA machines. My workhorse ABS machines are stickers. PEX I don't like. I've spoken to a few people. PEX is not good with higher temperature materials from what I understand. So. What are the different kinematic with printers? I actually have plans, it's on the drawing board, to do a what kind of printer should I get video, where I talk about, you know, if I need a printer for this, what kind of printer should I get? Because it's easy for me to say, you need a printer, build a voron, build a V2. These are awesome printers. However, not everyone needs that, and it may not be the printer for everyone. So there's different, you know, should I get a resin printer? Should I get an ender? Should I build one? Should I buy one? I think I'm going to do a short video just talking about that. Again, once I have time. I need more time. I do not have enough time to do everything I want to do. PC works fine. I print polycarbonate directly on PEI. The CF nylons and whatnot, though, I do put a very thin layer of glue stick and it pops right off. As for PETG, I don't touch that, so I don't have to worry about it. Thoughts on the Rat Rig? It's a CoreXY printer that you can buy a kit of. Beyond that, I have no clue. I've never touched one, and I don't know anyone who personally has one. Probably an okay printer. Double-sided plates, I have a few of those. Have I done a workshop video? Yo, MTV, welcome to my crib. I got printers over here, I got stuff on the wall over here, I got filament over there, and I got a closet. And there's you. Hello. I do need to clean up this room. I'm in the process of moving a bunch of stuff into the closet and building a shelf in the closet. So I actually have more room. And then once I get this cleaned up, I will do like a little shop tour. Why no PETG? Because I can print ABS. I don't. Why would I need stuff made out of water bottles? Do I dry my filament? My basement is dry enough that I keep my plastic out in the open for the most part. So PLAs, ABSs, it's all on the shelf here. The only stuff I dry is my polycarbonate and nylon, and then I keep them in, I have an airlock system, and I keep them in dry bags with I vacuum the air out. Smaller space. Yep, I have it. This room is, I believe it's 11 feet by 12 feet. That's all I have. Do I use any filament products? I do not. So yeah, when it comes to filament, my ABS and PLA I don't dry because my room is dry enough. They just stay dry. I just keep it out in the open and it's fine. I have some spools that are a couple years old now, still fine. What torque wrench do I use for switching nozzles? I just use my hands to switch nozzles. I'm that tough. No, it's go on Thingiverse, search torque wrench. It's on there. There's different specs. If they're designed to be printed in PETG, but if you print them in ABS, you have to use a different spec. It says in the description. And as for which one I use, it's a 1.5 Newton meter one printed in ABS. Because I believe that's the equivalent of whatever Slice recommends for the Mosquito. What's my favorite filament brand? It depends on what it is. Like I've got Polyalchemy here, which makes some really good silk plastic. This right here is Sparta 3D silk, which is also really good. I have a bunch of Sparta 3D ABS, which if you're in Canada, their ABS prints really nice. And then I've got KVP. I've got a bunch of eSun. I buy what's shiny and what's sale. Buy good filament. You don't have to stick with one brand, but don't buy like the $10 spool of no name off of Amazon. Where do I source my pre-crimped wire? Okay, there's two. So the wire loom in V226 here is from Fermio Labs. Okay, it's from Fermio Labs. The one in Tallboy is from Lineo. He's also the same guy who made the wire loom that Tom used in his V2 build, because Fermio sent him a wire loom, but it was for an SKR. Lineo made him one for the Duet. So the Lineo one, I believe you can buy directly. I have a video on my channel. Go to the video where I installed the Galileo on the V2 on Tallboy, because I have links to where to get that wire loom. KB3D in the US carries it, and Lineo has their own site. The Fermio Labs one, you get from fermiolabs.com. And they're both good. I approve of both of them. They're both good. I can't say which one's better because they're wire looms. They either work or they don't. The crimps were good on both. The wires were the right lengths on both, and everything was properly labeled. So, if I can only use. So here's the thing. Right now, everything's running 0.4s. I'm tempted to get a 0.5 millimeter nozzle X for Toasty in the long run, just because the filled filaments don't really like the tight nozzle as much. Yeah. For the first upgrade, would you recommend an all-metal Hotend, a steel nozzle, or PI build plate? AS, it depends on what printer you already have and what it already has. Usually I would recommend Extruder, Hotend, bed in that order. And then some sort of ABL. So if you're putting a PI flex plate on, a spring steel, go with like an inductive probe, which you can get a BAT 85 diode for 5 cents and a $3 PL08, and you're good to go. Do I speak or understand any other languages? Oh, Sarah. Sarah. 100 euro. Thank you. Appreciate it. Finally managed to get up early here. And oh, yeah, because it's 5 hours ahead? 5 or 6 hours. It's 10 o'clock right now. It's 10:12 right now. So it's like 5 or 6 hours ahead, I think. Finally got up early. Donation for the awesome guy and the awesome work. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Make sure you all like that smash button. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. And good morning. Guten Tag. For somebody who was asking if I speak any other languages. C. Non, je peux parler un petit peu de français, pas beaucoup. Mon français n'est pas très bien. All silicone used. I ran silicone for a while. Silicone wire works. So the reason it's silicone was originally it was Cat 5. Back in the V2.0 days and early 2.1 days, it was Cat 5. Because at the time, that was pretty much the standard for DIY 3D printers. Everyone used Cat 5 cable. Because it was easy, it was already paired up, and it was, you know, low voltage other than your heater wires. So even like if you go back, Tom had a video when he built his i3. He used Cat 5. So he's Canadian. I'm guessing you speak English, bad English. So here's the thing. For anyone in chat who is actually a legit Canadian, how good is Tim Hortons? And be honest. Because if you know, you know. No, I don't speak Spanish. So anyways, Cat 5. So we switched from Cat 5 to silicone because silicone is very flexible and it's used in drones, which a few guys on the team built quads and whatnot. So hey, it works really good there. And it worked fine all up until we started stuffing them in drag chains and they started rubbing. So at that point, we started switching to recommending PTFE wire and the Hero Fluoro stuff that they use on the pre-made drag chains. Tim Hortons went to shit. Timmy's is yikes. My man. Ice caps are good. The ice caps are still good. But no. So Timmy's got... Tim Hortons is not Canadian. Other than the name, it is not Canadian. It is owned by RBI, which is a Brazilian company. And they've basically driven the company into the ground by penny pinching. And like they used to offer hamburgers at Tim Hortons. None of the donuts are made in-house anymore. They're all frozen. The coffee is garbage. If you want good coffee, go to McDonald's in Canada. Yeah. Timmy's was good back. The heyday of Timmy's was like probably like I remember Tim Hortons was last good in like the mid to late 90s. So yeah. Don't James, the issue with Cat 6 patch cable, it's not the stranding, it is the bend radius. And we found that out the hard way. So basically you need something that can withstand the bend radius. You hear the term thrown around a lot, drag chain rated. That's not really a thing. But basically it has to have a tight enough bend radius that continuously bending it won't cause it to break, which Cat 5 will. Even the patch cable, it's not rated for that. So you need a high strand count. And also you need a coating on it, like PTFE, that won't abrade. So the problem with silicone, it's a very soft thing. Silicone wire is super flexible. And like here's the old wire loom. Like, it's super flexible. It's super flexible. The problem is, it's a soft coating. So inside a drag chain from China that has crappy injection molding on it, and there's rough edges, it's gonna rub. And when it rubs, it's gonna abrade and it's gonna grind and then it's gonna have exposed wires. That katana is gonna be really nice when it's done. Yeah, PTFE loves to slide. Same with the Hero Fluoro, whatever the stuff's called. I can has Micron. I want to build one of those. Honestly, I am completely, I have Tallboy. I have this thing, which is massive now. I have no desire for big printers at all. Like, I am all, like, I've got two V0s now. Like, I am all on the little printer horse or train right now. Actually, you're on. There are drag and robot rated cables. Lap Classic A10 is a drag chain rated. So set bend rate. Okay, so they're actually, is it an, okay, so Mike, is that a company thing where like a company sells it and they're like, hey, are there things, or is that like an actual like ISO ANSI standard for drag chain rating? Yeah, Cat 6 fine for umbilical. It's when you start repeatedly moving in a tight radius. The most I've ran at once, I had 1, 2, 3. I think I had 4 FDM and the resin going at once. So I had tall boy, the switch wire, V226, and then I had the resin. So I had 3 FDMs and the resin going at once. PTFE insulated, can they fuse the ship to my safe? Ooh, that sucks. So here's the thing. I think the alternative to that is Fermio. Yeah. So Fermio is in Germany, and you know Germany, and they love their regulations. So they use, it's not PTFE wire, it's Heluflon. Yes, they're Helukabel Heluflon. Guten Tag. Yeah. They use German wire. It's yeah. So I think that's the equivalent of PTFE that is like safe. Here's the thing. Yes, I know a ton of people are like, oh my god, that's so expensive, $109. Wiring up a V2 for me, the quickest I've done it, and I've rewired this one several times over the years, and I've wired this guy up, and I've wired up plenty of vorons. The fastest I can do a V2 is probably 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so 3 to 4 hours. I hear from people all the time that they spent whole weekends or a week wiring up their printer. Okay, some people cut everything to length, cut it, crimp it, test it. FEP. Okay, there you go. I have let me find it here. But anyways, it takes several hours to wire up a printer, right? So at the minimum 3, some people 6, 7, 8 hours to wire up a printer. How much do you make per hour at work, and is it worth your time? Me dropping $100, and I bought that one. I did buy this cable chain myself, or that wire loom myself. The Lineo one was given to me by Lineo, and I gave it a shout out in the video. It's part of the video. But the one I used in V226, I purchased with my own money, because I did the math. I make X per hour. If I go into work and work X amount of hours, it will take me less time to work those hours and buy the wire loom than it will for me to make the wire loom and buy the wire separately. So do the math in your head. Hey, if I can go to work and work for 2 or 3 hours and buy a wire loom that will save me 4 to 5 hours of my time, it might be worth it. But anyways, this is what I have in hand right now. This is like, I got it off AliExpress. It's like 22 gauge PTFE wire, a couple meters of it. This is my stock for future projects wire. Might need to prove your link. Mike O'Connor, do I see your link? I can't see it. Sometimes it won't show the link at all, unfortunately. Sean, so I do enjoy wiring. I've wired that one myself. I've wired V226 probably at least 5 times fully over the 3.5 years. I wired the switch wire myself. I've wired Tallboy twice before I got to loom in it. I've wired the V0s. I've probably wired up 12 printers fully, because I've done some of these multiple times over the years. I do enjoy it. I do find it relaxing. I'll put the headphones on, play some music. The problem is I don't have the time. It's easier for me to just buy a wire loom. Plus, nothing is worse than getting your printer to the point where you're trying to test movement and something is not working right, and now you have to trace back and find out where's the bad crimp. Look at it print. There's me. Hi. All the strings. Silk is stringy. So yeah, so like that's why I really like the LDO kit, because it comes with all the wiring pre-done. They'll probably try and do that on their V2 kit when they ever get to that. But yeah. Color code. Yeah, so for me, when it comes to wiring, where is it? Where's my book? I have a little sticker book for wire looms. Where is it? I gotta find it. It's somewhere. Probably moved it when I was cleaning. But it's got stickers on it. So the stickers are like 0 to 9, and you can stick them on. So I just keep a piece of paper with like wire loom 1 is heater, wire loom 2 is thermistor, etc., etc. So Xperia, if you are running silicone wires, I would recommend greasing them up with something like Super Lube or PTFE grease before stuffing them in the drag chain. I did that on V226 and I got 2 years out of my silicone wires, and they were still in good quality when I replaced them. It's just I wasn't willing to take the risk anymore because of the amount of hours I put on that machine. I couldn't afford for it to go down on me unexpectedly. Can you show us why you like the Fluid Pi UI? Okay, well, here's the Fluid Pi UI. This isn't the latest version. Tall boy. So, camera is upside down. Camera's on the floor. So let's get rid of the camera, because you don't need to see the camera. So yeah, I don't know, this is Fluid Pi. I can change the colors. I can move stuff around, so if I don't want thermals up there, I want thermals over here. I do that. And now thermals are over here. So you can adjust how the layout is and whatnot. Jobs, these are like, you know, sliced jobs. History, you can see everything I've printed over the past little while. Total print jobs since I've installed Clipper on this machine. So since I've installed the Galileo, or since I installed the Octopus, I've put 90 hours on it. I've printed 592 meters of filament. Tune. Hey, are my end stops connected? Oh, hey, they're all open. That's good. Configuration, you know, that. System. Disk usage, because I'm using a 64 gig SD card for this guy. Oh, it's a Raspberry Pi 3 Model B Plus. Ooh. Settings, themes, you can change your theme, fluid, for default, voron theme. Oh, it's all red, and it's got a voron logo. Hevort, oh hey, let's make it a Hevort. Clipper, oh, Clipper. I didn't even know they had themes, this is new. Fluid. Select theme, dark mode. Ah, my eyes! Authentication, macros, yada yada. And you can even change the color. Where is the color? Where's the color? Primary color. So I can make it any color. So since this is tall boy, let's make tall boy purple. There we go. So now it's all purple. There you go. And then you can have like limits, fan outputs, jobs. You can, I don't know, I just like fluid. I've used both fluid and mainsail for a while, and I kind of ended up settling on fluid after using it for a while. So. I'm blind now. I'm sorry, I should have warned you about the flashbang. I haven't tried any ABS carbon fiber yet. I know the Carbon X, I think, is good. Daniel, 5 Canadian, thank you, appreciate it. Merci, je ne suis pas le seul faire des tests ce soir. Souffle. Oh, I'm gonna have to run that through the trash. Souffle, it's been a while. Pseudo-fail, pseudo-fail. I'm not the only one doing tests tonight. Oh, okay. Yeah, my friend, I went to a French school till like grade 6, and then I got moved to an English school when we moved, and the problem is I don't speak it at all, so I've lost it like all. Have I tested Mainsail 2? No. I try not to run beta stuff on my machines. Like none of my machines are running anything beta or anything. Like they're all current hardware, current software, because I kind of, for the most part, I need them to work 100% functionally without issue. So this is a JGmaker Artist D Pro. Sorry, I can't get the camera closer because it shakes. Can I zoom? Actually, I might be able to zoom. Let me see if I can zoom. But this is a JGmaker Artist D Pro. I'm doing a review on it. Zoom. I can zoom a bit. There we go. Apply. So I'm just getting hours on it. I've already printed a bunch of stuff in dual colors. So we're just doing that. Tonight's a print. I'm waiting on stuff to come in. I was supposed to have a Mingda to fiddle around with. That didn't show up. It's in shipping hell. Actually, let me check my email, see where it's at. And then we swapped out the. Oh shoot. Well, hopefully I didn't have anything in there you guys can't see. We're printing that. So we swapped out the Toolhead on Toasty. Do I have anything in there? No, there's nothing. Unless an Amazon order. Where my PVA is. Where is my PVA filament? Amazon. Oh, it'll be here tomorrow. Okay. So Mainsail. Okay, so both the Mainsail started out was a guy who was on the Voron crew. He started working on that. So that Mainsail does have roots in Voron. And then Fluid, the guy got invited to the Voron team after, because he has a Voron. So both Fluid and Mainsail developers are part of the Voron crew, which I guess you could call it the Voron design team. I don't know. There's like, if you count the crew, there's like 50 people on the Voron design team now. I don't even know how many anymore. Yes, I took a look. I spoke about the upside down printer earlier in the stream. I think it's very neat. However, I see it as a very niche machine that has a very specific use. If you need a printer that collapses and fits down to a size of a filament box to bring with you, it's cool. But if you need something that just sits on a desk and prints all day, I think there's better options. What is... Have I ever gone on a tool plate bed with the channel cut into the temp sensor on top of the bed? I have not. I have drilled a hole in a bed before to mount a temperature sensor. However, I've kind of gotten lazy over the years and I don't bother with that anymore. And what I do is I just go off of what the built-in temperature sensor is on the heater. And then I just like let it heat soak for 10 minutes. Oh. Hey, my Mingda is in Indianapolis, so it's in the States. So it has made it outside of Hong Kong, so we're good there. Yay. What do I think about the ribbon cables in the printer? Okay, so this uses ribbon cables. I don't like them. I kind of understand why they did it, because it's like a one click and it's good to go, because you have dual tool heads and whatnot. So you have a ribbon cable that comes up out of the bottom that plugs into this board, and then there's a little PCB in there, and then it routes to here where it clips into another board on the tool head, and that board has all your connections for the heaters and everything. The problem is if I want to add anything, so say I wanted to add a bed probe to this, I got to run 2 wires, and there's nowhere to really easily run them. Because you can't splice into the ribbon cable. Now, luckily, it does ship with a spare. It ships with a spare X and a spare Y ribbon cable. So you do have one of each length spare. So I do give them credit for shipping a spare, but I still see it as, if you ever have to fill in it with anything, you're going to run into a problem. I don't like them. Plus, they keep catching on the filament. I'm worried that they'll rip. Like, I know, I'm sure they're more robust than that, but I keep worrying they're going to rip. Kabaz, have a good night. Put the ribbon cables in plastic dip. Ah, big brain. There we go. Black filament getting low. Oh yeah, I should have plenty. I'm pretty much done with the black anyways for a while. It's gonna be all this one. Jason, 10 pounds, right? Pounds. Yeah, that's pound. Thank you, appreciate it. I have a 50 watt heater for my new Hotend. Do I need to use a MOSFET? And if so, oh no. Okay, so your SKR, I run 50 watt heaters in pretty much all my printers. Most printer controller boards will have no problem with a 50 watt heater. They're usually rated, I don't know what they're rated to, but I've never heard of any printer board that had issues plugging a 50 watt heater into it. So you don't need an external MOSFET, you're fine. So, and it's 3:30 a.m., go to bed, man. Do I have a preferred color of silk filament? It depends on what I'm printing. If I'm printing, you know, a vase, like something color changing would be kind of cool. Like, you know, if I'm, what else have I printed like that? You know, hey, this is the polyalchemy, but you know, hey, this is a mermaid thing, right? Oh, blue, that makes sense. I'm not going to print this in like puke brown, but like this vase in brown looks really nice. So it depends what your, actually, this vase actually came out really nice. This was on the Toasty, by the way. I think this one is Sparta 3D. It depends on what you're printing, right? It's a color palette. That's why, and David, Mr. Randolph, if you're in here still, sell variety packs of filament. I wish companies did that, where it's like 5 or 10 half spools or third spools or something of all the different colors, because I now have a decent assortment of filament, but it took a while to build it up. Plus, Polyalchemy sending me 10 cases is kind of nice, or 10 spools is kind of nice. But it'd be a lot easier if somebody could just buy a case, because yes, you know, you're black and you're white, and you know, there are colors that usually you buy, but yellow. A lot of people don't need a full kilogram of yellow all the time, right? So being able to buy like an assortment of all the random cool colors will help a lot. So I wish you could buy variety packs of filament easier. Especially once you have like dual color machines and whatnot. So yeah, when you're putting a 50 watt heater in, the only thing you got to do is just do a PID tune. Paramount does that? I live in Canada. I don't get Paramount. Spool 3D does? Oh, okay. Micron orders are online. Oh my god. Every time I load up this website, I'm worried that I can't show it on camera. I can't get Paramount in Canada. That's actually not a bad price. Oh, okay, that's half. Okay. I kind of want to build a Micron. One day, we'll see. Move the MF to the bottom. That's okay. We're past the. I think it's the first 30 seconds of a video. I can't say fuck. After 30 seconds, I'm allowed to swear. But I've sworn on stream. If you notice, I work in a tool shop. I spent 6 years in the Army Reserves. I swear a lot. But you notice I don't do it on stream often. And that's because I've had YouTube flag my videos for swearing occasionally. So I try to avoid it. What is the Micron? Okay, so if you are familiar with the tiny M, so you have the V0, the little itty bitty V0. Somebody took a V0 and redesigned it to use 2020 extrusions and NEMA 17s. So it's a V0 built with full-size voron parts. Okay, so that's what the tiny M is. The Micron is taking a V2 and building it with V0 parts. So this is the Micron. It uses the mini afterburner toolhead, which, by the way, I adore the mini afterburner toolhead. If I ever do mods to this printer, these are going bye-bye, and I'm putting 2 mini afterburners on here. Because I love the mini afterburner. It's a great toolhead. It's really compact and it's got everything, except for a bed probe. I have to figure out how to put a bed probe in it, but we'll come to that when we come to that. But yes, so the Micron is 1515 extrusions, NEMA 14s. It is basically a baby V2. So it's a little bit bigger than a V0, I believe, but it still's got the 120mm bed, but it's got, you know, quad gantry leveling, which is awesome. So yeah, it's 220 wide, I believe. Or no, what is it? 220 plus 15 plus 15. So what? So that's 235, 250. So it's 250 millimeters wide. And a V2 is 230. So it's 20 millimeters wider than a V0. It's funny because Nemgria prefers the V0 boated. Honestly, I'm really liking the mini afterburner. Yes, this has a clicky probe, I believe. Everyone's doing clicky probes. I wonder if we're going to be doing one. There is unused tracks on the ribbon. Clicky probes are great. Yes, the M4 can print flex. It's the M4 is a dual. It's basically it's got the same type of gear teeth that a BMG has, but it's belted, so it's actually got a little bit more torque. So yes, it can do flexibles just fine. So going back to the Rabbit. So the Rabbit is going to go, or the carrot feeder is going to go on switch wire. So switch wire will no longer be a dual extrusion. It'll be a 6-color printer, but I'm going to need, and DFH, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to need 2 more motor controls. So right now I have an SKR 1.4 in there. So that's XYZ, yeah, so XYZ, and then I've got 2 extruders. But I'm going to need to have one of those extruders. So one of the extruders is going bye-bye because the one extruder is now going to move to the tool head. But then I also need 2 more motors for the Rabbit, because the Rabbit uses 2, or the carrot feeder uses 2 motors, and then it also uses servo. So I'm going to need 6 motors, right? I believe 6. Have I seen the CR Touch? Yeah, isn't it just a BL Touch type clone? Get a Rabbit Easy board. Do they have that? Because my other option is I have an SKR Pro 1.2 that has 6 drivers, or I have a pile of octopuses. I have a plethora of octopi I could use. 2 CAN bus. I could go CAN bus, or I could just throw a ramps on it. I have a bunch of controller boards. Controller boards are not my issue. I have plenty of controller boards. Yeah, I could just use like a small, like I have an SKR mini somewhere, like a 1.1 mini. I could just use that, or I could just throw an octopus in it. Yeah, so they're gonna have this guy, the Enraged Rabbit Carrot Feeder Easy Board. So I might just use this. So we'll see. We'll see. This would make it drop in and easy. Plus, I'd be able to show it off. Or I could just, you know, throw a whole new controller board, because they're all SKR. So it would just be a matter of pulling out the old board, putting in a new board, plug everything back in, and then flash it and do a new configuration. What are we at anyways? 10:45. So yeah, we got about 15 minutes left on the stream. So yeah, so we're gonna run a 3-hour stream today, so we'll end it at the usual 11. My V1 build is using 6 CAN bus boards mounted on the back of each stepper. There you go. That's what I like about Clipper. You can just throw whatever you want at it, pretty much. It's using Marlin. I'm assuming some variant of it. Okay, it's not custom firmware. It's Marlin with a different configuration. I don't know why everyone calls their flavor of Marlin custom firmware. It's Marlin. Marlin is the firmware. All you did was change a few settings and hit config, or hit flash, or compile, or whatever it's called. It's not custom firmware. It's a different config of the same firmware. At least that's what I look at it. But yes, it's running a flavor of Marlin. I don't know which variant. The last time I actually touched Marlin, like actually touched it, was 3 years ago. Custom firmware sounds better, yeah. When you're trying to sell it. Where Doggo? Doggo is upstairs. I think the wife's in bed, which means the doggo's in bed. He did. He showed up earlier for a little bit when the little guy came in. Oh yeah, I still have one of these. I have 2 of these now. Clicky. It's a shame these things weren't that great. You know your quality's good when you look at the drill hole for the filament going into the BIQH or the BQH2, and you can see cutter marks because they didn't use a proper counter boring tool. They just used a drill bit. to board out. And there's actually like chips of metal still sharp because they literally plunged and came back up. They didn't plunge, stop for a moment to clean up the bottom and then retract. They straight up. Let's see if I don't have overhead cam. You probably won't be able to see this. Focus. Yeah, you can see that. You can see the 3 chunks of metal at the bottom of that hole where the filament goes in. And both of mine had that. The new one, the original one they sent me, and the fixed one they sent me had that. Because they literally just did a quick plunging operation of the CNC, and they didn't stop for a moment so that it would clean the chip up and retract. They just went bump. So. The thumbnail was to get you to join. Once you're here, why not subscribe? Smash that like button and all the other YouTube things people say. Because you're already here. You might as well. Follow me on Twitter at 3DPNero. Subscribe to my OnlyBenchies. No dwell. Yeah, no dwell. I couldn't remember what the term was. Is there a wiring loom for the octopus? Lineo made one for me. Yeah. Lineo made one for me. I don't know if that will be a off-the-shelf one going forward. I think more people are going to start using octopuses because of the issue the spiders have, unfortunately. I really like the spider board. I like the layout of it. I like what it came with. I like the price. I like its size. It's the QC issues on it, though, are what's the problem. Court Ross, thank you for becoming a member. The advantage of going CAN bus steppers, you could have like a stepper for each board individually. I know that's one of the things Kevin, the Clipper dev, was playing with, was having just individual boards throughout the printer for each stepper. Instead of having like a one big board, you just have a CAN bus board, and then it just, with, you know, a few end stops on it and like thermistors, and then each stepper motor has its own board. That way, wiring is just you run a wire to each motor and you're done. Or 2 wire. Well, was it 4 wire? I can't remember. Yeah, they had some QC issues with, I think the 3-volt rail kept popping or something. My spider is fine. I'm having no issues with mine. I know a lot of people are, so unfortunately I don't feel safe recommending them. The board itself, if you don't have any issues with the board is fine, and I stand by everything in the video about it. It's just, unfortunately, it seems that they're having QC issues. I think more people ordered them and they weren't able to keep up. So they kind of ran into production issues. I think that's what happened. Layer height, it depends what you're printing, James, because if you're printing something that's curved, if you have higher layer heights, it won't be as sharp of a curve. So even on Tallboy with a 0.6 nozzle, I still print a lot at 0.2 layer height. I don't think a lot of people use the closed loop steppers. If your printer's properly tuned, you shouldn't be losing steps to begin with. None of my vorons lose steps at any point, really. I can't remember the last time I had a layer shift that wasn't caused by me screwing something up. So closed loop steppers, and closed loop steppers are loud and they lack a lot of the features the TMCs have, so. Would a JST SM connector be? Sorry about that.
Of course, we got like 5 minutes left on the stream, and my mic or my lab died. I thought I had enough battery in it. Engagement, get that engagement up there. So we'll go back to the old days when I had the crappy mic. Let this charge. Oh well, it happens. What did I say about the JST? I'm not 100% sure what they're rated for. Most of the controller boards I have, the terminals have a like a screw terminal. Oh, that's what I did. I charged the receiver. I forgot to charge the transmitter. So, max of 3 amps. So, if it has a maximum of 3 amps, so we got 24 volts at 50 watts. That is 2 amp, so you should be okay. Hello and welcome to my podcast. Or actually, no. What's the Twitch thing do? I gotta do the ASMR. That's the new Twitch meta, right? ASMR. That one's coming along pretty good. Man, all my batteries died today. This didn't work. Yeah. I step away from the mic to change filament. I understood that reference. It's sad. Okay, so like I'm not old, but like, you know, I'm a late 80s child. So I grew up through the early 2000s internet, right? So every now and then I drop a reference to like a Newgrounds video, or remember Stick Death, guys? Remember Stick Death? Or any of like those old websites, and it's like the young kids at work are like, what? It's like, Grandpa, what? It's like, ugh. Okay, boomer. I am 33. But I work with kids that are like half my age. Strong bad. Email. Powered by Macromedia Shockwave. Flash. Do you need a screw wrench? I like the torque wrench to make sure you don't over tighten it, because you can break them. A lot of them are brass. But just give them a good snug up. You should be okay. Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not old. I'm 33. But, you know, judging by my hairline, it's I've had people guess my age at 40 before, and I'm like, oh, no. And then I made the kid sham for plates for 3 hours after that. Geek, don't be bringing that stuff in here. Don't need YouTube to censor the stream. Salad fingers. $30 this summer. Oof. What is your day job? I work in a tool shop building plastic injection molds. Ben, no. No. I remember zip drive. So my first like experience with computers was we had the school I went to had Macs, and they were like the old school, like they were the generation before the colorful Macs, you know, the iMacs that had the hockey puck mouse. And so that was like my first computer, and then we ended up getting our own computer at home in like 98, 99, I want to say. But we still had Macs at school. At that point, we had the iMac. So the problem was I had a floppy disk. So I would go and do, you know, I would save my stuff at the school computer on the floppy disk, and then I would go home, put the floppy disk in my home computer, which was running like Windows 95 or 98, and it would say, oh, you need to format this. And I'd be like, okay, and I would hit format, and then I'd lose all my stuff. I'd be like, oh no, I guess I didn't save it. So I would redo it at home, save it, and then I would go to school and put it in the computer at school and be like, hey, I need to print this, because we didn't have a printer at home. And I'd be like, you need to format that. I'd be like, okay, and then I'd format it and be like, where did it go? It's because I didn't know what formatting did. A VIC-20, oof. Yeah, I don't, Ontario kids. Oh yeah, what was that game called? Oh yeah, that okay, yep. 1 second. I'm about to no, not LGR. No. Yeah. Oh yeah. Driving my truck across Canada. You Yanks had Oregon Trail. This is what we had. You had to drive your truck across Canada. Just driving around, whole bunch of nothing. I've been to Medicine Hat. Oh yeah. Having flashbacks. You have died of dysentery. What did Terry ever do to me? Set of explosives in your tune to destroy block. I think I remember, and then we also had a clown game. There's a circus game. What was it called? Mass Circus. Yes. So we had the Canada game, Cross Country Canada, and then we had this game. This is like what we had in like computer class when I was a kid. So it was like a whole bunch of math games, but they were like and then the water. I remember the water one. Yeah, the water one. I played this one. You can get Oregon Trail on like everything now, I think. I love how there's a speed run of this game. Okay, so anyways, it's 11 o'clock. I'm gonna call the stream here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. A little bit of, you know, print and chill. Got this printing. It's doing its thing. I'll post pictures of this when it's done. It's coming along pretty okay. And then we have the katana printing, the print in place katana in the carbon fiber or glass filled nylon. And this is PA12, by the way. This is PA12 nylon. This is a good nylon. So, oh yeah, Sim Tower. Played the crap out of that. So, hope you enjoyed the show tonight. If you have not checked out Thangs, the sponsor of the show tonight. There's a link in the description. Go ahead and print yourself one of these awesome print-in-place tensegrity towers that defy physics. It's literally all print-in-place. It's just like a few strands of filament holding it. And you can put stuff on it. It's cool. Physics. So yes, go check the link in the description. If you have not created an account on Thangs, go to Thangs. They are an awesome site. I think they're almost at 3 million models currently, ever growing. You can check out anything you want to print on there in augmented reality in 3D on your phone. So if you want to print something like this giant vase and see if it'll fit on your desk, you can scale it up and see how it'll fit on your desk at certain sizes. So that's cool. What else? For those that donated tonight, you guys are awesome. For anyone who became a member of the channel, you guys are awesome. Even if you just, hung out, watched the show, or if it's in the future, and it's the future, and, I don't know, it's the future, because you're watching this, 2 weeks from now, and you're watching it now, and you watch through the whole thing. You're awesome, too. You know who you are. Make sure you all like that smash button before heading out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Wash your hands. Cheers.